disable thing that's his disarm. But in general, yes, I do agree. I don't really think of him because I hardly ever see him, and he's not in competitive. But yeah, that's my answer to that. I guess I'm going to re-download each one of these replays right now before I go on. I'm going to be clipping this, so watch. Let's see. Delete. And then the one... there it is. I'll delete that one. Sorry about this, guys. Spectre is not good, no. Her passive that is pure, she does not attack it fast enough. You can almost always armlet toggle her. Your ultimate in all portions of the game takes off a percentage of her health, and she is a hero that builds health. So yeah, Spectre is very bad versus Huskar. You can end the game before she's relevant, and her core item of Radiance doesn't do shit. I have tried Wired, it does work. I believe it is actually a very good product if you are looking for something that can help you focus. But yeah, so I'm now continuing my part of, this is now continuing my part of the guide. So my second game here is a game where I particularly struggled as Huskar in lane. As you'll see from their picks, I pick last or fourth here, and I see that they have no physical damage. I do not consider Slark a counter, and I will go into more detail in this game. He doesn't generally come online fast enough. So a hero that's very popular in this meta is Undying. He's an offlaner, so you'll often be against him as Huskar, and he's a hero that is a little more dangerous, so I pick him fourth here. And they end up picking Necro. But, so the point being about Dirge is that he's pretty decent against Huskar in lane because he can sap your damage with Decay, and he's a pretty good dual offlaner. Almost every game I've been Huskar against an Undying, I've had a dual offlane, and that creates a lot of problems for you. But I want to show that Huskar can still be very effective simply because the enemy draft is bad versus Huskar. Even if he doesn't have a good start. And that's the point of this game. So the reason why I said Broodmother was particularly a counter pick is because, like I said, she can solo shut you down in lane. Oh, please no. Okay. It's okay that if you get shut down by multiple heroes, because that means they're prioritizing you. What the key emphasis here is that you tell your supports to leave. In this particular scenario, I had a bounty hunter who tried to help at the start and then kind of just left me. You need to get levels as Huskar. So if you're not getting levels or farm, you're not going to do anything. But if your supports leave you, you're getting shut down by two heroes, not having a particularly good start, that's okay. So when I know I'm going to get contested in lane, or even think I might, this is my build. I go two sets of tangos, Ring of Protection because of the 1 armor to 4. If I know I'm going to get harassed, like if it's a melee offlaner, I'm not concerned about my armor because I'm not going to get hit by him, right? But if it's a dual offlane, I'm more concerned about my tankiness in that regard. So my tankiness, and since against a melee offlaner, is just by having boots, I'm not actually getting hit. So then I go 3 branches. That's just to help you in the early game. You usually end up selling them anyway. I hardly ever go wand, but in this case I do because I'm getting shut down early, and it's really needed in lane. I already buy like the magic stick in lane, and I already have the 2 branches, so I kind of just value myself in. I will not be showing a game against it because I didn't have one that was in this patch, so the health bars are normal. But the only these are the 2 item builds, and the only time this varies is if you are against a bristleback, which I go 1 set of tangos, 2 rings of protection, and then fill it with branches. The reason why it changes against bristleback is he's a melee offlaner. But he only has physical damage, and it's almost always quills. So, like, you're not going to get harassed as much in terms of, like, right clicks, but you're going to get harassed a lot by quills, which is all physical, so I highly emphasize having the 2 rings of protection, and I wouldn't vary from that build ever. And some people would be like, why'd you get 2 tangos instead of a tango and a salve? As Huskar in lane, if you ever played with Troll, you'll understand how much strength it gives you if you just have an extra, 30 attack speed, 15 attack speed, whatever it is. So as Huskar, your goal is not to ideally be full health. You don't want to be full health. You want to be, like, once you hit level 2 or more, because you have a point in your passive, you want to be, missing a third of your health, missing a fifth of your health, anything. And if you have a salve, that basically promotes you being aggressive down to low health and then salving back up to full. On every other hero, that makes sense. But on Huskar, I generally want it to be sustained, that I'm consistently tangoing, so I'm taking trades, and I'm always sitting in like the 25 to 75% health range. So that's why I always buy tangos and I never buy salves. And once you get an armlet, you're going to be low health anyways, so there's no point in trying to get health back with any regen. So like at that point, your tangos is only supposed to meant to last you. All your regen is only meant to last you until you get your armlet. So we're going to go and fast forward here. So we don't get the rune. I mean, we get top rune, but I don't get the rune. You know, as Huskar, try to do your best blocking. I do fail here. But the minute I see this lane, I know it's a Necro and a Dirge. So I try to get in right clicks as much as possible. I always level Flaming Spears level 1. There's really just no point in ever leveling anything else. Like, if leveling your hero to survive, I don't think it's worth it because you'll just be crippled in lane. Try to get as many right clicks as off as possible. The Bounty Hunter's helping a little bit. But the crucial thing is that I'll try to get some pot shots in, but I will not be posturing position-wise nearly as aggressively. And I'll just be kind of scrapping for last hits. It's really difficult with my low base damage, plus the fact that I'm losing damage to decay. To get last hits, you will see me miss last hits in this lane. But in general, if you just notice, I'm posturing myself really far back. I buy a magic stick as soon as possible because of the dirge spam. I recognize if I'm against a spammer and I'm in a tough lane, I will buy magic stick. If I'm against a bristle, I also buy magic stick, even if it's solo v solo. But like last game against Tide, I didn't even bother, right? So it's really only if you need it. I just think any slow of your progression of armlet exponentially slows the rest of your items, even if it's only a couple hundred gold. So you'll see me miss some last hits, but I'm going to try to play aggressively. I know they can't really do much to me here. Like, like I'm not going to have a free lane, but I'm not going to, like, be able to die, you know? So I do drop pretty low here, so I do have to be careful. So I'm sitting back as far as possible. They start chasing me here. I end up surviving. That's the magic stick saving me. If I had not purchased that, I would have died. Most definitely died there. So I'm basically forced into this situation of passivity. And this is the kind of lane where I end up having like 20 or like 15 CS, I think, at like 6 minutes. Not very good. I mean, you can't really expect much when I have a Dirge taking my damage. And I hit for 45 and he hits for 73. So that's kind of expected. I'm not expecting to win this lane. But as long as I'm getting levels, it's okay. So the build stays the same in regards to skill build. It always remains the same. It never changes. That's like the thing I'm trying to emphasize about like how the game goes. People ask me how you handle poor games with certain heroes. See, like I'm missing last hits. I mean, I hit for 49. And it's really difficult under tower. One thing that I will talk about in this guide briefly right now is that, just so you know how Burning Spears works, is that the first tick of damage is actually applied instantly. So in terms of last hitting, if I have level 2, I technically, if I want a Burning Spears, I have 59 damage. In a lane like this, where I'm already taking a lot of harass, I'm very hesitant to cost myself any HP ever, so I usually don't use it, even if it means missing last hits. But in a more dominant lane, like if you're just going to miss a last hit for some reason because you know you need that extra 10 damage to get it now or you won't get it, which does happen. Just so you guys know, the first tick does happen immediately, so you can basically consider that adding 10 damage or 15 or 5, whatever level it is, to your attack. So I'm going to buy myself my magic wand here. I don't even have a slot for boots yet, and I'm not even going to be able to get to the side shop, so I just go ahead and fly myself my magic wand. When you're in a tough lane like this, I will never go for trades. Like, if the Dirge had man-upped on me earlier on in the lane, I would not have tried to fight him with level 1 spears. But the math I talked about in the first game, the level 2 spears, I mean, it's basically like 3 times as good as the level 1, right? So, like right there, you saw me, like right here, you saw me willing to take trades with this Undying. Like, he mans up on me, and I'm willing to trade with him here. Like, because I know that even if I'm trading with him right here, I know I didn't trade with him right here, but even if I'm trading right here, I know I have a tower so that he's going to be forced to back off, and I'll be able to get like 2 or 3 pot shots on him that he won't, like, that's effectively making me attack him 3 more times than he's attacking me, right? So in that kind of scenario, I'm willing to take trades, even if I'm in a tough lane like this. So I flew myself my wand, and if you notice, this is something a lot of low-level players do not do. If you're flying yourself something on the courier in this kind of lane, you'll notice that I flew myself an extra set of tangos. I already talked about the fact that my goal with this regen is to survive until armlet. So if you don't have enough regen to make it till armlet, don't be like, man, I'm screwed. I don't have enough regen. Be like, okay, I need to buy more regen to sustain till armlet. And that's just something you can't always calculate in lane, but my starting build is about as close as you can get to predicting what kind of scenario you're going to be in. Or like being able to handle what kind of scenario you're in. So always tangling up, remaining low health if I can. So generally playing passive, but I know I have a bounty hunter here, and I think we can kill the Necro, because Necro's really weak in lane regardless. But as you can see, like, his damage doesn't really, like, they can't really kill me, right? So, like, I'm playing aggressively, and I know they don't have any stuns, so I'm willing to get low. As long as I keep tangoing up, but I'm not willing, I'm not going to play too aggressively and die, but I'm not willing to, like, I'm not going to play like a wimp, because if they do that, I'll just lose the lane because they get all the CS. So yeah, I have about 20 CS at 6 minutes. That's actually not horrible. So now that I'm running low on regen, I'm still hesitant. I'm hesitant to start trading with them more. So in this particular lane, I end up buying the Blades of Attack right there. That's kind of thing that you can do mid-fight as Huskar. In any hero, I highly emphasize buying the items the second you can get them. In this kind of lane, as you notice, I'm not free farming. In the other lane, I was, so I was willing to save up to get my 950 for my Helm of Iron Will, because it really helps you sustain in lane. But I bought out right here. Like, I bought out a Blade of Attack right here as I was walking into the fight. It's just, like, that was my first opportunity to go to the side shop in a while. So I basically spent my money right there. It's another precaution going into a fight, knowing if I die, hey, at least I spent my money and I don't lose anything. I might lose something here, but I believe most of my gold is reliable from the kills. But the main thing I'm trying to say is that if you don't buy your items right away, there will be times where it costs you your life or costs you a kill. So I end up dying to a DD puck counter gank. You know, start the game 1-1, 21 CS in 6.5 minutes. Not a good start by any stretch. I believe I buy another set of tangos. I'd be surprised if I don't. Yeah. So I buy myself another set of tangos, as you see. I'm not even close to an armlet. Last game I had a 5-minute armlet. This game I'm not even close. I buy myself another set of tangos because I know I'm going to need regen before I get to my armlet. I also don't even have my Helm of Iron Will yet. Like, I don't even have half my armlet, let alone an armlet. So I set up my quick buy for armlet. Usually I do that earlier, but, you know, I had been dealing with buying a magic wand and all that shit. So now my lane's opened up, even just from that small gank. Getting a little bit of space. This honestly happens naturally. It depends on what time of the game it happens, but they can't pressure you forever. If you just survive, get your levels, you'll be able to get something out of the lane eventually. Like right there, I used a Flaming Spear to get the last hit. Not really concerned about it when I'm full health. So yeah, this is how you just got to recover, and sometimes it's always different in which way you will recover. Their Slark is getting fed, but it's okay. So I immediately went and bought the Glove of Haste, as you saw. Like, the second I can get the gold, the second I go to the side shop, I buy that. Really high emphasis on immediately buying items. I have a set of tangos, so I didn't prioritize buying the Helm of Iron Will. I already have a decent, like, I already have the armor and I have the regen, so I wanted to just be able to farm as much as possible. I know I'm in lane against two people and the attack speed doesn't do all that much. But like right here, I would have just now been able to afford the Helm of Iron Will, and I wouldn't have even been able to get it. I didn't think I would die here, but I highly underestimated it. But that kind of thing where, like, I got the counter gank. Like, they spend their entire time shutting me down. This is what should happen. They spent 2 heroes shutting me down this entire time. Now your mid laner is much stronger than them. Will this always happen? No. But what I'm trying to say is if they spend 2 heroes shutting you down, your other heroes are going to be out leveling them. If you have a decent start, like, you'll be able to make a comeback. Like, when I say decent, I mean, like, this is bad, but it's still what I'd consider decent. Like, last game, like I said, I had a 5-minute armlet, and at 10 minutes, I don't even have... I'm missing it by 1,300 gold. So now I go to mid lane, because my Queen of Pain was bottom. Look for a kill. But even with just heal, I'm pretty survivable, see? Like, I don't even die, right, with passive. So I was willing to play aggressive on Disruptor. He has no stuns, no way to catch me. He's only going to glimpse me out. That's the kind of stuff I'm willing to do. And this is the kind of stuff that now, this is poverty Huskar engaged right now. When you're struggling, never hesitate to go back to the jungle without an armlet. It's still really bad, but there's no other option. If I keep going back bottom, I'm going to keep getting messed with. I'm out of options at this point. So I start like scrapping for a farm in the jungle. And this is the kind of stuff where you kite using flaming spears. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of hits here, but like if you just kite using flaming spears, yes, it's a lot slower and you will slowly kill yourself. But that's about the only option you got, right? So I go back to bottom lane after one single camp because it's pushing into my tower, and that's why I chose to go back. But every little bit of farm that you scrap for right there is what gets you to come back. Like, if you don't do that kind of stuff, you will never come back. So I end up dying, I believe, here. I thought with the heal I would be okay, but they end up killing me under my tower. And then they die for it, you know. So it's one of those that, like, they're still diving me, and they're still spending all their time shutting me down. And I'm still progressing. I know that sounds weird, but I actually gained like 400 gold in the last minute and a half. Which, for poverty Huskar, is pretty decent. So I can immediately go back to mid. There's nobody there. Always go to lanes where you can farm it. Like, top lane's pushed out, mid lane's pushed in. Go to mid lane. I'm still extremely squishy. But when a fight like this breaks out, there's about to be a fight breakout, but I'm about to do the same thing, as you see here. I'm willing to lose a little bit of health because I need to be able to farm fast. Like, I'm not kiting the creeps, and I wanted to kill them before the minute mark. So that I could farm another creep. Now I'll kite these, because it's not the same priority. But, like, he can farm camps pretty fast, he just loses his health. That's why Armlet's so good. Like, right here, I don't use my flaming spears. So I just hang around mid. I've almost got my 14-minute Armlet. In fights like these, you have to understand that if you skirt on the outsides of it, you're okay. But if you go into a fight, like if I don't have an armlet, unless it's a solo disruptor, I will never dunk into a fight, all right? I will never dunk into a fight. You're just gonna die. There's really no other way to put it. So if fight breaks out, you'll see here, I kind of just skirt the outsides. Like, I don't contribute much, and nothing really happens from this fight, but this is the kind of stuff that you can do. I've given like 2 or 3 flaming spears. I've drawn their attention. We get a disruptor ulti here. Like, I mean, this is about all you can ask for out of an armlet-less Huskar. I'm trying, man. This hero doesn't do anything unless he can dunk. And if you don't have an armlet, you can't dunk. So the minute I get my armlet gold, I immediately buy it. But as you see, you're still pretty, like, decently tanky as long as you're not getting focused. When they have no physical damage, if you're not getting focused, you're extremely tanky still. So even though I did not die here, or I didn't accomplish anything, I didn't die, I was at the fight. I mean, I accomplished something. So I got my armlet, I'm willing to fight now, but Ursa dies a little bit deep. But the point being is now I've got my armlet. It is a 15-minute armlet, guys. I can't stress that enough. You think Huskar is only a snowballer? I have a 15-minute armlet. But I have declared at the start with this draft that this is a good Huskar game. So I immediately retreat to the jungle, turn on my armlet, same process as last game. Run away from the creeps as they're dying. I'm going to stack these. I believe or no, actually just kill it before it spawns, I think. Go back. Like, okay, so I got a 15-minute armlet. Let's just check this out. I'm not getting any kills. Let's see what my item progression is. But see how, this is what the lifesteal I was talking about. I want to share this. If you don't have lifesteal, like right here, it's okay, because I was higher health going into the creep wave, or creep camp. But now that I don't have lifesteal, check what I have to do at this camp. I have to actually kite the creeps, turn my armlet on, and turn back. Now, that may not seem like much. That was about probably 2-3 seconds that just cost me. But if that, you know, say that's 5 or 6 camps, suddenly that's 20 seconds you're missing, right? That's 15-20 seconds that you're missing from item choices. So, like, there's more things that help that Morbid Mask offers you, but it's also the fact, like, that it prevents you from doing stupid shit like killing yourself on neutral creeps. But this is the kind of stuff where if you're not farming at this low health and being this efficient, you're not actually using Huskar. So I'd much rather you try to do this kind of shit and die to neutrals like an idiot, like I have on stream, and learn from it. That's the best way to learn. So this game in particular, I go treads because I'm behind. If I'm ahead, I'll go morbid for the farm speed, but treads are better for tankiness. They're actually better for tower pushing, so I'll go treads. So like right here, I'm playing life on the line, right? And that's the kind of stuff you just have to do. You have to be comfortable doing it. It's your only option to farm fast as Huskar, especially when I'm behind. So, you know, I went from 15-minute armlet, suddenly I have 17-minute treads. That's 950 gold in 2 minutes. That is not bad. So now I look for kills with my armlet, get a kill. One thing to say against Dirge in the mid game especially, if it's not gonna kill you. Like, don't walk back into the fight to die for it. But you do a lot of structural damage, and the tombstone counts as a tower, and you don't die to zombies or dirge. So I highly emphasize that if you are a Huskar against a dirge, you almost always try to focus the tombstone. It's not going to happen here, but you'll see it later on that I prioritize the tombstone because it's going to screw over your teammates a lot if you don't. Right here, so this is the kind of stupid deaths that you have as Huskar. This is the kind of stuff you have to accept. So like right here, I was concerned about the zombies and the right click from the dirge. So I toggle off. I toggle my arm mode off and I toggle it back on. This is the kind of stupid shit that kills you, alright? Look at what kills me if you watch it in super slow-mo. Look what kills me. This is how you die as Huskar, and this is why it's really important to get your items up. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. You're going to see what kills me here. It's pretty funny. So I'm worried about the dirge. I know he's not going to right-click me here, so I toggle. Right here I toggle. This range creep attack kills me. This range creep right here attacked killed me. That's the kind of stupid shit that happens sometimes. And if I had higher armor, like I'm telling you, if I had a Helm of the Dominator, I promise you that doesn't kill me. Just from experience, you don't die to creeps once you get that armor up. But that's the kind of stuff that, like, that's why I emphasize, like, don't go any other items. Like, don't rush a blink after armlet treads. Like, go all armor. Like, that's all you need. It makes it so you don't die to creeps, you don't die to towers, you don't die to people that don't right-click. Like, you'll never die to stupid shit. And that's, like, I know that sounds retarded. Like, you'd be like, hey, like, you know, if you weren't bad, you wouldn't die to stupid shit. I'm telling you right now, in the mid-game, half your deaths are to stupid shit as Huskar. No matter how good at this hero you get. It's all stupid shit, man. So back to farming I go. Efficiency, stack camps, leave my element on, auto, leaving this on. Same skill build as last time. I see a fight going on. I'm willing to show up. As long as you are not the focus of attention getting 5-man ganked against this kind of lineup, you really should not die. Unless it is to stupid shit. So we take a good fight. I continue to farm their jungle. I'll farm really aggressively. Now this is the kind of shit that I do on Huskar that, like, people don't, well, like, people will just never do. Like, you'll see, like, people, like, professional players do it on other heroes that they're more comfortable on. But so, for instance, I know 3 of them are dead. We're going to tower push, but by the time with this creep wave here, that they're going to, so we'll just free camera. You see this creep wave. Oh my god, can I really not? Okay, so we're going to try this here. With the creep wave where it's at, we're not going to be able to push this tower before they're up, right? So instead, I force the glyph. See how I walk into the tower? I don't mind taking it. I'm going to force the glyph here. Now I back off. And so when they're up, now they have no fort. They may not seem like a big difference, but if you've ever died trying to finish a tower when they have fort, that basically explains that enough to you. That's the kind of stuff you can do as Huskar. So this just shows in the mid-game. I'm a really underfarmed Huskar, and they're chasing after me, right? You just got to know when you're invincible. I armlet toggle. I get a heal off when I can. I believe I heal. Yeah, there you go. And then I make it my mission to focus this tombstone. Because I do a lot of damage. But I'm basically invincible. They'd be like, oh, you know, like, this is a Huskar that has no farm. And, yeah. They have no physical damage. So I do not die. Yes, clutch armor toggles will be important. I did have a clutch one over here. But the emphasis is that they tried to go on me. And they couldn't kill me. So same story as last time. It's obviously like 9 minutes behind or so, but you know, get a good fight. Roche isn't quite up yet, so we're gonna take mid tower here, force out a glyph. I'm willing to tank the tower as long as I have heal on. I'm emphasizing again, I'm under tower and I'm in vision, so they can go on me. I'm gonna have my heal on. Same build. Build does not change just because the game sucks. I did add a magic wand. That was the one change. So we forced the glyph, back off, took a good fight. Back to farming I go. I healed up just in case the Slark went on me with a Shadow Blade. I didn't know where he was. But now that I saw him bottom, I wasn't concerned. I probably did that. Like, that was probably a waste. So I keep farming here. Same items. Oops. Go back to base because mana is really important on Huskar. The only time I really won't go back to base is if I'm snowballing or I have an Aegis. If I'm snowballing, I don't need the heal to live. If I'm not, then the heal's like of the utmost importance. Like, I just have no fear. I don't care about farming in front of their faces here. As long as I know I have someone on my team even remotely in distance to help me, I'm not concerned. So like I heal, as you see here, same thing. I have my quap behind me to back me up. I focus Tombstone because I know that's important for me to do. They can't kill me. Like, it doesn't matter how far behind I was. I have 24 armor as Huskar at 24 minutes. It's still pretty good. I may not do nearly as much damage, but they spent all their time shutting me down. And if your teammates aren't retarded, then they'll punish them for this. So that dunk right there may not seem that important, but they're all dead, right? They're all dead. All of them. He's already Shadow Bladed. I dunk him here, and I force out his ultimate. On a hero like Slark, like, it's different on every hero, right? But on a hero like Slark, he can't fight me now. He has no ult. He can't fight me. So that was a huge deal. Now we can push this tower. I'm like, guys, let's push this tower. Slark has no ult. That guy is unable to fight us entirely. This is 24 minutes in. I was 1-4, I think. I think I was 1-4. Oh, we are now taking their racks. I am our, like, Quap doesn't do any physical damage. Neither does Bounty Hunter. I am our only physical damage dealer with an armlet. And we are taking their buildings. To those who say Huskar is not a pusher, they are full of shit. We take a 24-minute racks off of it. As a Huskar that was behind. When you are behind as Huskar, you will hardly ever dunk in. If everyone's alive, you will never dunk in. The only time I'll ever dunk to go on a guy is if he's like right next to me and I'm just doing it for damage. Always hesitate to dunk heroes that have mobility, because if they mobile like a Storm Spear, you dunk him and he ball lightnings back into his tower and chase after his team. Then you just, like, you know, rip. You're gonna fall and you're gonna get, like, the only way you die as Huskar is if you get isolated. And that's, like, the important thing to note, is that with your dunk, if misplayed, you can get isolated. So this game kind of speaks for itself. We take Aegis, go bottom, rinse and repeat. I'm unkillable. That's basically wanted to show you the effectiveness of Huskar. Same items, same build with a shitty lane. With Recovery Farm, you can make a lot happen. I went from 15 minutes of Brown Boots Armlet to 25 minutes. So 10 minutes later, I got a 5k gold item plus a helm. So 7k plus 900. I got a 800 gold per minute in that 10 minutes. So that's that game. These guides will be up on YouTube. They will be divided into games. The first game was a snowballing game where I was against a melee offlaner, which is going to happen a lot when you're against a solo melee offlaner. The second game was that game, and all the builds are described in depth. I will be dividing it simply not only because they're different games with different purposes, but yeah, because of the fact that my replays have cut out every single time, and it's really choppy to put that on YouTube. So I'm going to be dividing this guide into 4 parts, the intro, and then each of these 3 replays.